Welcome on the Cosmic Atom. Carl Jung explains 13 signs your aura is too strong for most people to handle. If others shun you, are envious of you, or feel curiously uneasy in your company, it's not your attitude, it's your aura. Carl Jung understood that when your inner light grows too strong, it not only inspires, but also exposes others. Part 1. What is an aura and why? Carl Jung concerned about it. Your aura is more than just a magical light or a vibrant field artist. Depict in spiritual imagery. In psychology, particularly Carl Jung's deep psychology, your aura is defined as the invisible energy signature that you send into the world, knowingly or subconsciously. It is not only about what people perceive on the surface. It is about how people feel when you are there and how strong that aura is. Others are disturbed not because you're doing anything bad, but because you represent something unique and extremely unpleasant. Authenticity, the psychological origins of the aura. Carl Jung did not use the term aura in the conventional spiritual sense, but his concepts of the psyche, the unconscious, and the collective unconscious indicate that we are more than simply brains or personalities, but also spheres of influence that show others our emotions. Jung felt that each individual is a complex system of conscious identity, shadow aspects, suppressed desires, and archetypal energy that belongs to mankind as a whole. When someone has integrated more of their unconscious data, which Jung refers to as individuation, they emanate presence. This presence is not something people wear like a coat. It comes from inside them and impacts others around them without a word being spoken. That is your aura, the psychological, emotional, and even spiritual weight of your existence that enters the room before you say anything. Powerful auras are often associated with individuals who have addressed their darkness, accepted their truth, and stopped seeking acceptance from others. They have become entire, not flawless, but whole. Incompleteness disrupts a world accustomed to deception. Why people are alarmed by powerful auras. Carl Jung famously observed that people would do anything, no matter how stupid, to avoid confronting their own souls. This quote is essential for understanding why your strong aura produces pain. When you enter a room with high-frequency energy, sincerity, emotional depth, and extreme self-awareness, you operate as a mirror. You mirror back to people what they aren't facing in themselves, to someone who is separated from their own reality. Being around someone who lives their truth is unsettling. It reminds them of what they're avoiding. Imagine entering into a room full of people wearing masks and being the only one without one. No matter how gentle or quiet you are, your very existence becomes a menace. Why? Because you unintentionally showed the artificiality surrounding you. This is the troubling power of an integrated aura. This disruption is generally unrelated to animosity. It is more subtle. People may squirm, avoid eye contact, or overreact to your comments. Some may criticize you for being too intense or profound. Others may admire you from afar, but feel unable to approach. These replies are not about you. They are about how others perceive your energy presence. The aura is a psychic projection. According to Jung, all humans project aspects of their unconscious minds onto others. This is referred to as psychological projection. When someone with a powerful aura enters a room, their presence often disrupts other people's projections. Most individuals prefer to cope with life by transferring their unresolved feelings on others. They project their uncertainty, anger, inadequacy, or fear outside to avoid having to deal with it inwardly. However, when you are powerful, it penetrates those projections. Your sincerity dispels their delusions. This is why Jung wrote on the risks and responsibilities of being full. It disturbs the false narratives that others adhere to. This is especially true of writing, particularly in social or professional situations. Your energy may discreetly question the conventions or underlying power dynamics in a group without saying anything. You may be characterized as too much, too spiritual, too passionate, or too convoluted, when in fact you are just aligned. The more interconnected your mentality is, the more united your energy becomes. This causes resonance or dissonance in others, depending on where they are in their own individuation process, shadow integration, and the development of a strong aura. Let's speak about how this energy develops. Meditation or affirmations alone do not create a strong aura. It arises from profound shadow work, which Carl Jung defined as bringing the unconscious into awareness. The shadow encompasses all of the aspects of yourself that you've been trained to conceal, including wrath, sadness, fear, jealousy, and power. Society often teaches us to conceal these feelings in the name of being nice. However, oppression does not lead to peace. It causes internal fragmentation. Shadow work helps you restore shattered pieces of your mind. You face what you've denied, forgive what you've concealed, and begin to love aspects of yourself that you previously despised. As the healing progresses, your aura stabilizes and strengthens. You're no longer carrying chaotic, suppressed energy. You have processed them. This transition creates a luminous area of presence that others can sense even if they don't comprehend it. Jung believes that individuation, or the unification of the unconscious and conscious self, results in what he refers to as a self, a force bigger than the ego that radiates completeness. When you reach that point, your aura will no longer reflect fragmentation. It emits coherence. That coherence is strong and seductive, but it is also frightening to people who have not began the same process. How the collective unconscious responds to powerful people. There's another layer to Jung's ideas that explains this disturbance, the collective unconscious. Jung claimed that all humans are linked by a common reservoir of archetypes, instincts, and primitive knowledge. This implies that your presence is never fully individual. It is consistent with communal symbols. If you have a strong aura, it's probable that you represent one or more Jungian archetypes: sage, warrior, healer, rebel, or seer. These archetypes have great potency inside the collective unconscious. When someone approaches you and you engage one of these archetypes, they are reacting not just to you, but also to generational patterns that your presence has triggered in them. For example, suppose you have the healer archetype. Some individuals may unintentionally wish to share their grief with you. Others may oppose you for fear of being noticed. If you bear the warrior, you may face rivalry or opposition from others who feel helpless. These aren't conscious responses. They're old psychological reactions that occur underneath the surface. This is when the disruption becomes more intense. Your aura disturbs more than just individual egos. It disrupts cultural and ancestral conditioning. You may notice that individuals from various backgrounds, personalities, or belief systems react to you in strangely similar ways. This is because they aren't reacting to your personality. They are responding to your energy signature when it enters the deep mind. Authenticity is a disruptive force. The third component of this jigsaw is authenticity. In a culture that values conformity, authenticity is disobedience. You become unusual when you live with integrity and match your ideas, emotions, and actions, and seldom bothers individuals who have built their lives on imitation. Carl Jung underlined the danger of the persona, or mask we adopt to win social acceptability. Most individuals never remove their masks. However, When someone with a strong aura appears and refuses to follow the rules, the whole illusion is jeopardized. This does not imply you are attempting to disrupt. Most persons with tremendous auras are calm, compassionate, and contemplative. However, their whole manner of being is innovative. It conveys to others that they don't have to play small. You do not have to pretend. You could be entire. And this is the most troubling message of all, for those who are not prepared to accept it. Part 2. The first 5 signs your aura intimidates or disturbs others. Sign on. People are easily frightened by your presence, even if you are quiet. One of the most revealing characteristics of a strong aura is how others respond to your presence rather than your words. Before you say anything, you see individuals tense, look at you, squirm, or become quiet. You may hear comments such as, "There's just something about you," or "You have a strong energy," but they cannot articulate what that something is. It's your aura doing the talking. Carl Jung thought that presence was an expression of interior structure. A psychologically integrated individual who has reconciled their darkness and accepted their identity exudes a strong psychic charge. This charge is neither aggressive nor overpowering. It's grounded, concentrated, and terribly disturbing for individuals without interior structure. Silent confidence undermines ego-based uncertainty. When someone who hasn't done the serious work encounters someone who exudes stability, they may feel inadequate without realizing why they are being noticed. Being really seen in their distress might cause people to recede, shun you, or get defensive. You do not have to be the loudest person in the room to take up space. Your very presence changes the vibe in the room, and others notice even if you're dressed simply and not attempting to stick out. That isn't charisma. That is internal power. Being viewed externally causes you to draw both adoration and jealousy without even trying. People gravitate toward you, but they don't necessarily remain. Some people adore you, while others feel envious or competitive, apparently without reason. This polarity of reactions is a definite indication of a strong aura in young people, since you are activating projection. People look at you and perceive echoes of their own subconscious wants or anxieties. You are an inspiration to people who want to exemplify sincerity but are stuck in self-denial. You are a threat. This duality might be disconcerting at times. Someone may congratulate you on your groundedness, while another may accuse you of arrogance or being too passionate. Yet you're doing nothing different. The reality is, you're not the issue. You're the trigger. You serve as a psychological mirror, emphasizing what others are attempting to suppress. The adoration is real, as is the jealousy. People desire what you have: inner strength, self-trust, and emotional clarity. However, not everyone is willing to perform the necessary internal effort to accomplish this. Instead, they harbor anger against you, not because you have harmed them, but because you remind them of their own powerlessness. According to Jung, anything that frustrates us about others might help us understand ourselves. When your aura bothers people, it's usually nothing personal. It is informative. However, only those who are prepared for progress will perceive it this way. Sign 3 individuals cast their own anxieties onto you. If you have a powerful aura, you will unknowingly become a canvas for other people's inner turbulence. Others will project unresolved worries, traumas, and concerns onto you. This manifests itself in subtle ways, such as being accused of having ill intentions when you are merely being honest, or being told that you believe you are superior to us. When you've said nothing of the like, you're held responsible for the emotional responses of others around you. Why is this happening? It's because your energy causes others to experience themselves more vividly. You don't let people hide, even when you don't say anything. Your presence functions like a spiritual X-ray machine. It penetrates the ego's facade. People feel seen, which is terrible. In Jungian psychology, this refers to persons who are alienated from their actual self. This is the realm of the shadow. When someone hasn't resolved their shadow characteristics, they transfer their stress on others. And if you're carrying cleansed but integrated energy, you'll be the easiest and most apparent target. It needs judgment to recognize this. If you are oblivious, you may begin to trust these predictions. You may internalize feelings of guilt or shame that are not yours. However, once you understand this pattern, it is evident that you are not the issue. They are responding to their own anguish via you. Your duty is to maintain self-awareness and innocence. As Jung highlighted, individuation entails removing projections and taking ownership of one's emotional world. That is the adventure you are on, and others may not be prepared to join you. Sign that you have had powerful emotional responses from strangers. Have you ever observed how strangers warm up to you without warning or become hostile without provocation? These extreme emotional responses are a direct result of the vibrational energy in your aura. People may share very intimate tragedies. Minutes after meeting you, you weep or get emotional in your presence, reacting with exaggerated displeasure or distrust. This is not an accident. You enter their mental sphere, and something within them starts to unravel. Your aura serves as an emotional tuning for resonating with suppressed emotions that have been buried for years. Young people characterize the unconscious as a repository of everything forgotten, denied, or rejected. When a powerful aura collides with a well-protected mentality, it typically causes upheaval, emotional turmoil, unexpected revelations, or even conflict. Some people may appreciate you for guiding them to a realization. Others may accuse you of influencing or upsetting them, even if you did nothing. This is the drawback of having a powerful aura. You are a catalyst not by choice, but by nature. The same fire that warms some may harm others, and it all relies on their emotional development. The key here is compassion. Recognize that their emotional response indicates that something inside them wants to emerge, but also realize that it is not your obligation to heal or hold space for everyone. You're a trigger, not a therapist. Protect your energy wisely. Sign 5. You're often misinterpreted or branded as overly intense. If you have been told you are too much, think too deeply, or are too sensitive, take it as validation that your aura does not follow society conventions. And it is a good thing. The environment often encourages superficial contacts and surface-level ties. When someone like you comes along, someone who sees through masks, talks from the heart, and doesn't play games, people are perplexed as to where you fit in. They could remark, "Yes, you are intimidating. You're unlike anybody I've encountered. You're simply too intense." That intensity isn't a defect. It is a frequency mismatch. Your aura operates on a higher spiritual, emotional, and intellectual level. The majority of folks aren't paying attention. You aren't too much. You just live in a world that often operates in emotional poverty. Jung warned about the hazards of conformity. He thought that many individuals live under a mask or character and never reveal their genuine self. When someone who has broken that pattern appears, it shakes the entire foundation of how most people interact. That problem becomes a disruption. You may be excluded, shunned, or misunderstood not because you have done anything wrong, but because you refuse to shrink. You refuse to diminish your presence. You refuse to become a shadow of yourself in order to make others comfortable. That level of self-containment is unusual. It's all inspirational to the proper individuals, but scary to those who continue to hide from themselves. Part 3, signs 6 to 9. Your energy changes the surroundings. Sign 6. You may influence the vibe of the room just by entering. One of the most obvious symptoms of a great conflict is that your energy transforms the space rather than just filling it. When you enter into a room, the talks halt. People look up and the tone alters gently. You did not say anything. You didn't introduce yourself. You just arrived. But your energetic field came first. That is the silent power of resonance. Carl Jung often stressed how a person's internal psychological condition inevitably influences their exterior experience. The premise is that energy is infectious. If you enter a room with centeredness, clarity, and emotional power, you will accidentally break the emotional equilibrium of that space. This may go both ways. 1. Increasing the energy level. You either anchor the area or offer a feeling of tranquility while upsetting the energy. Your steadiness makes people aware of their own instability, which may cause them to become reactive or retreat. People see your presence not because you are louder, wiser, or more handsome, but because your energy is dispersed. That coherence is uncommon in a chaotic environment, and it is noticed on a primitive level. Even animals can feel it. Children tend to become especially calm or interested when they are around you. That's because the body responds before the intellect comprehends. Jung referred to this as the impact of the collective unconscious, an old intelligence that detects depth when it sees it. Even if the conscious mind cannot describe why this power comes with responsibility, walking into a room does more than simply occupy space. You create the tone. And it is something people will remember about you long after you're gone. Sign 7. You effortlessly spark meaningful discussions. Somehow, people feel compelled to open up around you. Strangers may tell you about their personal lives. After just 1 or 2 meetings, acquaintances begin to confide in you. Even people who generally hide behind humor or sarcasm open up about their anxieties or regrets. Why is this happening? Because your aura serves as a psychic invitation to further exploration. It claims it's safe to be honest here, and in a world filled with masks. This is an uncommon and profound message. Carl Jung thought that healing could only take place when the unconscious was brought to conscious consciousness. And that process often starts with open dialogue, genuine, unfiltered, emotionally based communication. People know that you will not judge them and that you possess the emotional intelligence to hold difficult realities without flinching. Your energy serves as a psychological permission slip. You don't have a surface-level presence. You provide holy space, but this has repercussions. Not everyone is prepared for the kind of vulnerability your presence requires. Some people may subsequently feel exposed or humiliated after saying something they've never uttered before. Others may attempt to manipulate you into emotional dumping or use your empathy as a sponge for their unhealed wounds. It is critical to understand the distinction between holding space and being someone's emotional dump. Just because your aura promotes openness doesn't imply you have to accept or alleviate anyone's misery. You're not a confessional booth. You are a reflection of reality. That, in and of itself, is spiritual service. Sign 8. You instinctively resist shallow individuals. You do not need to avoid individuals who are superficial, manipulative, or performative. Your aura does it for you. People that feed on gossip, attention-seeking, or superficial affirmation may avoid you or feel uncomfortable in your company. Dismiss you as uninteresting, too serious, or strange. This is because superficial energy cannot maintain itself around truth, while your aura is an embodied vibration of sincerity. Jung wrote extensively on the persona, or the fake self we adopt to navigate society. Most individuals spend their whole lives wearing this mask. constructing their identities for others rather than revealing their genuine selves. However, when someone with a forceful, uncovered presence enters the scene, the whole system is threatened. You don't play the game. You do not laugh at shallow jokes. You do not like drama. You are on a different frequency. And those who believe in superficiality understand that they will instantly attempt to test, provoke, or discard you. But behind it all comes a profound insecurity. You represent the road they're avoiding. You remind them that it is possible to live without pretense, which is horrifying to someone whose whole self-esteem is based on image maintenance. Instead of getting insulted, consider it a praise. If superficial people feel uncomfortable with you, it's because your energy requires depth, which not everyone is prepared to go for. 9 individuals feel tired or invigorated after being with you. This is perhaps the most misunderstood aspect of having a powerful aura. You may notice that some individuals feel energized, serene, or inspired after spending time with you, while others feel drained, overwhelmed, or nervous. You may also feel weary after certain exchanges. Why? Because a powerful aura does not just exist. It interacts, and those interactions either align or conflict with the other person's energy field. Carl Jung highlighted that our mind functions as a living system. When two psyches engage, a subtle and energetic exchange occurs under the surface. This interaction might result in either resonance or friction. People that are in tune with their inner truth will feel boosted by your presence. They will feel your energy as affirming, powerful, and even healing. However, individuals who are severely fragmented, in denial, shame, or have unresolved trauma may see your aura as forceful or overwhelming. This isn't because your energy is bad. It's because your energy field exacerbates their discord. You may also notice that certain individuals unintentionally attempt to drain your energy. These are often people who haven't developed their own internal light, so they cling on to yours like a battery charger. These aren't bad individuals, but they are energy parasites. Jung pushed us to see our limits as filters rather than barriers. Protecting your aura entails being careful of how much emotional access you offer others, particularly those that leave you feeling empty. You don't have to shut people off entirely, but you do need to learn how to manage your light, when to flash it and when to pull it in for your own recovery. Part 4. Signs 10 to 13. The deeper psychological impact of a strong aura sign 10. You're often targeted by poisonous folks. If your aura is strong and grounded, you may discover that you are drawn to manipulators, narcissists, and emotionally unstable individuals. This may appear ironic. Why would a poisonous person be attracted to someone so healthy? But there's a very unique psychological explanation behind it. They want your brightness. Toxic people are often detached from their own authenticity. They exist in shadow projections and false egos. However, the human mind is geared toward completeness. So, even if someone is internally broken, they are frequently attracted, unknowingly, to others who represent what they lack. This is why, when your aura emits serenity and clarity with purpose and integrity, you attract individuals who are experiencing psychological instability. Carl Jung cautioned that if a person does not face their inner darkness, they would seek out others to unknowingly acquire or dominate their aura. Being integrated and self-aware reflects what people want but cannot produce for themselves. Instead of working to improve, some individuals want to emotionally control you. Manipur-induced self-doubt. We will push you beyond your comfort zone. It's an example of vigorous colonization. They want access to your light because they are unwilling to develop their own. Your duty is not to rescue these folks. Your objective is to understand the distinction between connection and consumption. Are they attracted to you because they want to develop, or because a strong aura with no limits makes them a target. However, a strong battle with clarity and protection becomes unstoppable. Sign 11. Animals and children are attracted to you naturally. Unlike humans, children and animals do not use ego filters. They react to vibrations rather than social masks. They will notice right away whether your aura is pure, integrated, and spiritually linked. You may find my stray animals approaching you on the street, dogs wagging their tails or lying quietly by you, and newborns watching, smiling, or reaching for you. Only children want to sit next to you or speak to you like they've known you forever. Carl Jung often discussed the concept of the inner child, the untainted self inside each of us. When someone is in touch with their inner self, they exude a purity and presence that children and animals naturally recognize. This awareness isn't intellectual. It's an energy stick. It expresses your safety, authenticity, and trustworthiness. It's crucial to recognize that this attraction is spiritual rather than emotional. In terms of energy, you embody qualities of the divine child or the caretaker archetype, which exude caring, harmony, and protection. People who are caught up in ego games may not appreciate you, but animals and children who are closest to pure instinct and spirit will. And it's frequently the most honest confirmation of your soul's authenticity. Sign 12. You are incredibly self-aware and spiritually grounded. The more spiritually grounded you become, the more neutral your energy feels, which disturbs people who are not grounded. This is a paradox. You've probably been through this before, and you remain cool in the midst of pandemonium. You talk slowly. When others are yelling, you remain still while others fidget. Even when stressed, you do not respond rashly to someone who lives on noise, drama, and disorder. This isn't comfortable. It is threatening. Why? Because your inner tranquility reminds them of the internal conflict they're losing. Your calm reflects their unrest. Your lack of responsiveness challenges their addiction to excitement. Carl Jung promoted the concept of psychological integration, in which a person becomes complete by accepting all parts of oneself, including dark and bright. When you attain this condition of internal equilibrium, you are surrounded by silent power that is magnetic, similar to that of an explosion. People feel it, but cannot grasp it. You are grounded because you have completed the necessary deep work. You've confronted your trauma. It's an inquiry about your identity. Bishop, your darkness is linked with a greater spiritual reality. You are now walking into rooms with spiritual presence rather than ego. You do not have to dominate. You do not need to impress. Your energy just is. That business is strange to someone who lives on autopilot. They demand performance, noise, false charm. You provide none of that, just the truth. And nothing is more unpleasant than being confronted with the truth when you are not prepared for it. Sign 13. You don't want acceptance, which upsets people. Most individuals spend their lives hoping to be liked, affirmed, and accepted. However, if your aura is strong, you've probably outgrown that desire. You no longer change your thoughts to match the setting or smile to make people feel comfortable. I'll reduce your brightness so that others don't feel tiny. Apologize for your limits. You have learned to validate yourself. You understand your value. You've traveled through fire, endured alone, and achieved serenity without a claim. Dark shadows. That makes you really uncontrolled. Carl Jung said that the luxury of a lifetime is to become one's true self. However, this privilege is not free. Alienation from the herd. When you do not seek acceptance, you become unpredictable. You violate societal conventions. You cannot be guilt-tripped or controlled. People who rely on control or communal agreement for identification find your independence very troubling. It dispels the myth that belonging demands compliance. You stop seeking permission to be yourself. That alone produces a powerful energy that others can sense before you speak. It doesn't matter if you're outgoing or silent, louder, softer voiced. Your enthusiastic signature declares that I am not for sale. And in a society where everything is commodified, it is terrible. Part 5 explains how to embrace and protect your powerful aura. Having a strong aura is not a performance. It is not something you can turn on and off. It is a state of energy integration, the culmination of your inner labor, self-awareness, spiritual foundation, and psychological maturity. And although it may be magnetically therapeutic and transformative for others, it also needs deliberate care. This section is about understanding how to comprehend what your energy truly performs. Maintain your energy field without shutting down. Use your aura to serve a cause rather than for pride. Maintain clarity and limits in a world that often attempts to devour or distort you. Remember, your aura is a tool, not a trophy. First, let's get things straight. A strong aura isn't a reward. It is a responsibility. Jung noted that completeness does not imply superiority. It's all about genuineness. When you start integrating your shadow, living in accordance, and being self-aware, your energy will alter naturally. This pulls people to you, opens hearts, and encourages vulnerability. However, if you're not careful, that same energy may be exploited by others, including yourself. This is where spiritual humility is essential. Your aura serves as a mirror for others. It reveals who they are, not because you are better, but because you're more clear. You've cleansed your energy field of noise, deception, and reliance, and that clarity is a weapon for waking, not a badge of honor. When you begin exploiting your aura to obtain praise, attention, or influence over others, it gets contaminated. You go from being a source of truth to another mask. That is when the aura diminishes, causing karmic imbalance. So your task is to consider your aura as a holy energy rather than a go-away weapon. It exists not only for you, but because of you. Let it serve a bigger purpose: healing, transformation, and insight. Peace in setting energy boundaries without blocking your heart. A strong aura generally indicates that you are a magnet for suffering. Individuals' traumas, wounds, shadows, and projections. If you're not cautious, you'll start taking energy that isn't yours. Over time, this may result in burnout, uncertainty about your own feelings, persistent exhaustion, and emotional entanglement. Ease, compassion, weariness. Here's a conundrum. You're not supposed to shut your heart, but you should defend your field. Carl Jung regularly discussed the need of mental borders. Integration does not imply openness to everything. It denotes discernment. Who or what deserves access to your energy? Here are a few techniques to safeguard your aura without shutting down the ground before entering an area. Before entering any new area, particularly one you suspect is energetically turbulent, take a few seconds to ground yourself. Use your breath. Feel your feet against the floor. Visualize a protecting glow around you. Determine what goes into your area and what doesn't. Become a filter. Do not absorb. You are not a sponge. You don't need to take in everything. Learn to see energy rather than internalizing it. Allow it to slip past your consciousness like a cloudy image. First acknowledge, then release. C. Establish clear emotional boundaries. Just because someone demands your time, your listening ear, or your approval does not imply they deserve it. You're not a public therapist. Your compassion must be based on clarity, not guilt. Do not disconnect without guilt. If someone consistently leaves you feeling tired, nervous, or compromised, it is okay to move away, even if they are family or not that horrible. Spiritual self-respect entails understanding when to leave low-frequency areas, learning how to say no without explanation. People with strong auras often battle with guilt. Why? Because their presence inherently benefits others. And when they start withholding that presence to protect themselves, they believe they're being selfish. However, Jung made it plain that individuation does not please people. It is a dedication to being entire rather than loved. You have the right to say no without an explanation or cancel arrangements without feeling guilty if you refuse to commit emotional energy to manipulative individuals. Refuse solicitations that exhaust you and value solitude without explanation. Your aura is valuable. It cannot be distributed indiscriminately, or it will lose its purity. Every time you say no to anything that disturbs your tranquility, your aura becomes stronger, not because you isolate yourself. However, you're refining your energy field to resonate with purpose rather than appeasing others. Accept your job as a catalyst, not a rescuer. People will gravitate to you. They'll share their tales. They will weep in your presence. Some people will put their misery onto you. Others will look to you as a lifeline. But here's something you must remember. You're not the answer. You're not a guru boss. You're not their rescuer. You are a catalyst, a reflector, and a vibrational shifter. According to Carl Jung, each person must go on their own journey into the unconscious. You may provide contemplation, insight, and encouragement, but you cannot perform the task for others. To carry a strong aura, realize that your presence will influence people. However, this does not imply that you are destined to carry their healing. Empower them, but do not enable them. Guide them, but do not save them. You may sit near someone in the dark without extinguishing your light, but you must maintain regular routines that restore your vitality. A strong aura must be kept. It isn't self-sustaining. The more energy you produce, the more self-renewal you need. Here are key activities that Jung would promote, although in his own psychiatric jargon. Daily loneliness. You need time to disengage from the communal energy. This is not loneliness. It's called psychological hygiene, whether it's meditation, writing, prayer, or just wandering alone. Solitude grounds you in your natural vibration. Conduct shadow work and maintenance, and continue to evaluate your triggers, judgments, and emotional responses. Your aura is powerful because you have done the work, but the labor never ends. The more clear you get, the more delicate your blind spots seem. Inner child link. Keep nourishing the innocent part of yourself that still hopes, laughs, and believes that purity is a strong source of light. Jung's divine child archetype represents the regenerative core inside us. Protect it. Perform embodiment. Don't spend all of your time thinking. Embodying energy creates powerful auras. Move your body and experience your feelings. Do not spiritualize your misery. Process it while you're in your body and at your peak power. 6. Put your aura to work for something greater than yourself. Finally, the most crucial part of having a strong aura is alignment with purpose. This prevents you from getting into ego traps, manipulative games, or savior complexes. When your energy field is connected with a higher purpose, such as healing, truth-telling, awakening, or protection, your aura becomes a conduit rather than a burden. Carl Jung felt that everyone has a myth inside them, a holy tale that guides their soul's progress. When you discover yours, your energy takes on magnetic significance. You quit performing. You stop proving yourself, and instead just exist with purpose. A strong aura without a goal is overpowering. However, when directed toward a greater goal, it becomes revolutionary. So ask yourself, what does my energy naturally want to do in this world? What type of presence do I want to convey? How can I utilize this aura to protect, awaken, inspire, or provide comfort. Your lighting is not an accident. Your vibration is not random. And your dissatisfaction with the world, it indicates that you are here to change it, not adapt to it. Dear viewers, your support through Super Chat and membership is the only source of income that keeps this channel running. If you want me to continue uploading valuable content without delays and to stay motivated in providing you with the best wisdom, I need your help. Every contribution, big or small, makes a huge difference. Feel free to donate and support Pure Wisdom so we can keep growing together. Your generosity keeps this journey alive. Thank you for being part of this amazing community. If you're enjoying the content on Pure Wisdom and find value in the messages we share, I encourage you to subscribe. Based on the latest analytics, 93.9% of viewers are watching without subscribing. By subscribing, you not only stay updated with new content, but also support the channel's growth, allowing us to continue spreading wisdom for the chosen ones. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an important message. Let's build this community together.